Hey gang, Jason here. This is going to be kind of a little bit of a weird video, I think. Um, I'm sitting here in the workshop trying to get a few things done here on a rainy Sunday, summer evening, afternoon, whatever it is. Um, so I get a lot of questions and I just kind of collect them, and then eventually, every once in a while I do one of these videos. It's been actually quite a long time since I've done one of these videos, but I'm going to answer some questions about farm toys, customizing farm toys, things like that. Just kind of some general stuff. So I'm going to show you a few tools that I use, and hopefully there'll be some helpful tips along the way. Sorry, I'm wearing my glasses, but and I know I've got a glare here, which is a little bit annoying. So I put the hat on because trust me, it was worse without the hat. But I can't read my question list if I don't have these on. The joys of getting older. Anyway, so thanks for everybody who sends questions, by the way. You're more than welcome to in the comments section below, or you can email them fortheloveoftractors@gmail.com, and I'm always happy. I try to answer them there. I don't make you wait for the video, but like I said, I accumulate them over time, and then I've got questions. I probably have like 20 I could do, 20 or 30 questions I could do, but I'm only going to do about 5 here, so that this isn't a super duper long video. While I'm at it, if you would like, share, subscribe, all that sort of thing, it just helps with the algorithm. I feel like we're probably reaching the maximum number of subscribers we're gonna get for this channel. I mean, it'll add a few, but the farm toy community is not a huge community, but so that really means liking really helps out, getting this out to new people and getting exposure. So, all right, sorry, I had to do the housekeeping thing with that. I don't want to take forever on it though. So the first question, and the reason this is the first question is today is I actually just got this today. I actually had it on my list. I've gotten it several times, but I got it today, and it's about painting. I'm gonna see if I can. I don't know. Still doesn't help out like with the glare. Anyway, I apologize for that. It's about painting, and it's in particularly about painting small parts. So things like, and I have one right here, the tail lights, for example, on this truck bed, or this third light up here, things like that, mirrors, flashers, all sorts of items like that are tricky to paint, especially if you're like me and you got big clumsy hands. But there are some really simple and really inexpensive ways to help you do that. The first is just a good old-fashioned toothpick. So you can buy literally, I mean, I have literally a box of these here on there's 500. I don't imagine they cost me more than $1 or $2, whatever it is. It's super cheap. And you've got 500, well, actually about 1,000, because you can use both sides, little paint apparatuses. So what you're going to do with this, I use a lot of Testors paint for my detail stuff. So you're just gonna, this is black, obviously. You're just gonna dip that into your paint and kind of wipe it off. You've got your tip painted. You can put as much or as little of that on there as you want. And then I'll just use this as an example real quick. This is not going to cover very well because it's not primed, but I'll just show you just some precision. Ooh, about to make a mess there. Application, if you will. And if you're going to do this, and it may take you a while, and that's okay. Again, you're interested in a cool finish product versus a quick finish product. So there you go. So like that's the band on these Dimco tanks. Easily painted with the tip of a toothbrush, or a toothpick, I'm sorry. Now there's other things as well. You can get these things called microfiber tips, microfiber brushes, mini microfiber brushes, these things here. They come in several different sizes. Same thing, you dip that in your paint, you've got a little tip here that you can do all sorts of detail painting with. Now, something else, these are pretty inexpensive as well. Most hobby stores have them. You can find them online at all the big retailers. You know who they are. You don't need me to tell you. The next thing, and this kind of goes along with it, alligator clips. These things are awesome, and you can get them on poles. Again, you can get 100 of them silly cheap online, and these can help you hold things. So these are great for a couple things. You can see my hands pretty painted up right now. I've been doing a lot of painting today, airbrushing and rattle canning both. And what's great about this is this will hold an object, and while you're airbrushing it or rattle canning it, or even detail painting it with like the toothpaste. Wow, I keep saying that, toothpick, so on and so forth. And let me just show you real quick here. So I've got a saddle tank. Now let's say this was all painted up, or not. It doesn't matter. Just clips in like that. You can rattle can that, or you can airbrush that, or let's say you want to detail your hose here. You can just kind of use it to hold that, get up close, get where you can really see it really well, so on and so forth. So highly recommend you getting some of these. And what's really cool about these things, you can stick these in some styrofoam, or you can get a board and drill little holes in them, all sorts of things of that nature. And then you don't have to hold them with your hand, but then also you can run string, thread, twine, whatever from each one, and you can hang objects to paint, which gives you a really nice paint job. Like, especially if you're going to paint, so for example, this is the rear end for a Bueller versatile tractor, and I would, sorry, had a little interruption there, had to stop. Anyway, you can run string through that, then you're not touching it, then it's not touching anything. You can run it right through your axle. It's a great way to paint tractors. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend these. Just lots of great use out of these. Okay, next up. Oh, I had actually. I'm just gonna go ahead and continue with this. Someone asked me, what are some other useful tools for customizing other than the Dremel? So I think everybody knows about Dremel, right? If not, Dremel is the number one tool for customizing farm toys. I have one with a flex hose. I have it hanging over here so I can just grab it off to the side, turn it on, work with the flex hose, anything I need. Cutoff wheels are a must. Sanding drums are a must. You don't have to buy Dremel brand. In fact, I almost never buy Dremel brand anymore. You can get sanding drums on, Amazon, eBay, wherever, by the 100 for about what it'll cost you to get 3 or 4 from Dremel. So just keep that in mind. I also like sanding disc, which come in some different grits. Those are great for certain things. For example, this one's a 120, this one's a 240. Great Dremel accessories. But I kind of got sidetracked because it said besides Dremel. One of my best number one tools, a pretty serious set of tweezers. You can get these all over the place. They're a little heavier than your normal tweezers, which I probably have a set of those here too. I say that, but they're not super handy, right hand, offhand. Regular tweezers are fine. There they are. I knew I had some. I've got a little rotating caddy over here, and I keep all these tools in that. So these are fine. These are great, and if you need to get into really tight spots, you're going to have this. But I find myself losing these a lot, losing the grip on these a lot, for whatever reason. These are a much tougher spring. I just seem to have a better grip and a better time with these. I think it's also they're heavier, so it's a little easier for me to place where I want to place something on those. So highly recommend a good set of tweezers. You can get them that will come with straight, and then you can get them that come with curved tips, things like that. So works out really great in the long run for that. The other thing, or another thing, you've got to have some sprue cutters. These are sometimes called flush cutters. I call them sprue cutters. They're generally called sprue cutters in the model world because if you've ever done any old model cars, they come on that plastic sort of rack, and what holds the pieces on are called sprues, and you just use these to snip those apart. These work really good if you're going to use. I really highly suggest having a couple sets. You're going to use these for a lot of different things, whether it be styrene, brass, safety pins, straight pins, things of that nature, all the sort of things that you're going to use in the farm toy world to build your toys. You're going to use these to cut. Have a couple because they will wear out on you, especially if you cut brass. If you cut brass that's too thick, they will break, trust me. And so that's where your good old side cutters or something like that comes in. So it's a little bit heavier duty. I got these at the hardware store. They're spring-loaded, but the spring has kind of given up on them, and that's okay. I use this to cut a little bit heavier brass rod and things like that. And of course, you're going to have your Dremel and all that stuff for that too. And then one other tool for this one, and then I'll kind of move on to the last topic and get this out of here since we're at a 10-minute video. An Exacto knife with saw blade. So I have an Exacto knife with an Exacto blade. That's a must-have as well. But this is one that most people, not most people, a lot of people don't know about. And what's great about this is you can cut a lot of things with it. You can cut die cast, you can cut plastic, you can cut your styrene, brass, anything like that. Now, it can be a little bit of a trick sometimes, a little bit of a pain. But here, if I can find, I probably should have waited. And I literally just cut the plastic on this bed of the trailer with this. I should have waited. Here, I'll just grab another piece. Well, that's metal. It will cut this, but it's a lot slower. Anyway, and you just work it like a saw. And I don't know if you can kind of see, it's starting to cut in there. So obviously this will take a little bit to cut. If you're cutting like the plastic frame for a truck or something like that, it's going to cut in no time. Highly recommend these because you can be super precise with them. So I think that's what's really cool about these versus, obviously you can cut with the Dremel. I cut a lot of things with the Dremel. You can cut with a bandsaw, scroll saw, skill saw, whatever. You can cut with all sorts of stuff. But I like this just for fine tuning, fine cutting. You never know what you're going to need to cut. So anyway, all right. This got long real quick. I'm already up to 12 minutes. I may have to do a part 2 of this sooner than I anticipated. Let me know down below, guys, if you've made it this far and if you want me to keep doing videos like this as well, preferably without this glare situation going on. I'll figure that out, I promise. Oh, well, okay, cool. So I got a question. I actually got this question twice, and it's, I'm going to Lafayette for the first time this year as a buyer. What do you suggest? I think it's a cool question. It's a good question. If you've never been to a farm toy show, especially a show like Lafayette, is going to be kind of crazy for you. It's huge, unbelievable amount of toys all in one space. My first thing is, if you know you're going to a certain person to get something, I would go there first and kind of take care of that business. Now, they might let you keep your stuff there. We do a lot of times. I got a lot of people that come pick up from us at shows, or like come early, see what we got, and like, hey, can you just hang this back for me? Here's the money. Just hold on to it. I'll pick it up at the end of the day. Of course, we're always happy to do that. I think most guys are happy to do that. So that's kind of my thing. Like, if you've got a specific stop, you might want to go there first. Because especially customizers and things like that, they're going to sell out pretty quick. Or especially at Lafayette, they're going to sell the new stuff or the really good stuff, for the most part, really fast. Now, that doesn't mean at the end of the show there's not going to be anything good left. There will be, but the real popular customizers, a lot of their stuff doesn't last very long, especially their new stuff. So that's that. The second thing is, this is a different advice than I would give if you were going to a small show. If you go to a small show, I highly advise walking around the whole show, looking at everything, seeing what there is that you want to see, and then kind of figuring out, well, what's in your budget and all of that. At a big show, especially like a Lafayette, St. Louis National, there's a really good chance if you see something you want and it's at a price that you think is reasonable, when you come back later in the day, it's going to be gone. And so I highly recommend, if, let's say there's a cool custom piece that you want right there, and you only been at the show a half hour, I'd get it, because it's going to be gone probably. Other than that, bring a lot of money, plan to spend the day. Don't be afraid to talk to people and introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. Especially if you're coming to see me, please come up and introduce yourself. Hey, I watch the YouTube channel. My name's, whatever, so-and-so. I like what you do, or I don't like what you do, or whatever. Do that. And then have fun. It's a farm toy show. Nothing like it in the world. It's a blast. So anyway, guys, coming up on 15 minutes on this. I'm going to call it quits, and we'll do another one of these really soon, because I actually have some questions I didn't get to, but I don't want this to be a terribly long video. So, thanks for watching. Sorry about the weird glare and the glasses. Guess that's better, but like I said, I couldn't read my questions if I didn't have the glasses on. So, have yourselves an awesome day, guys. As always, thank you. Happy tractor hunting.